Welcome back on the VST channel. On the left I have the Vivo X100 Ultra and on the right I have the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Those are two of the best phones that you can buy with money right now. All of them using the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. I know that 8 Gen 4 is coming, but right now the 8 Gen 3 is still the latest one. All of them equipped with one of the best cameras ever seen in a phone. Of course, we have a clear zoom champion, which is the Vivo X100 Ultra here, and if you want to know why, then please watch some of my previous videos. All of them really full spec, latest storage, latest RAM, latest chip, very nice display technology, and of course the main things are this here is running the latest One UI, this thing here is running the latest OriginOS, and in this video it's gonna be all about comparing the UI and the smoothness of operation that you can get with those two phones. So buckle up and let's start. But first things first, let's try to set some things straight. I want to show you the software version. The S24 Ultra is using the latest One UI 6.1, Android version of course 14, security patch level from 1st of June, and this is the version AXEF. The Vivo X100 Ultra is using the OriginOS4. It is running the latest version. This is the version number, it's PD2366G. It's all unstable. Why? Because you kind of know the moment you go on the Vivo, there are usually other channels to get trial versions, to get better versions. So both phones are running on the latest software available for them. I want to also show you something. The auto brightness is turned on. I'm using the screen resolution UHD, which is the highest one available for the Vivo, and of course the QHD Plus, the highest one available also for the S24 Ultra. Something very important, the refresh rate on the S24 Ultra, I do have the option to use the adaptive one and the standard one. So the standard one will get me down to 60. This is the adaptation in the OriginOS4. I have smart adaptation, intelligently recognize user scenario and decide between 60 and 120. Then there is the standard one, which is 60 Hz, and then there is also the highest one. Now I'm gonna go for this test and choose the highest one. Why? Well, if you might have noticed, I am showing the refresh rate on all devices. And standardly when I open Telegram on the One UI 6, it runs smooth, it's 120 Hz. When using this smart adaptation on the refresh rate in the video, the moment I open the Telegram, I'm gonna get down to 60. This happens also for the other social apps, so it's not so smooth, and I want guys to give you the smoothest available experience. So I'm gonna change this one from the smart adaptation and I'm gonna choose here the highest one. Now the moment you select the highest one, you have also the option to select which apps you want to go up to 120. I've selected the ones that I want to show in the test. So the moment I open now Telegram, or let's say I opened Facebook, it's going to be on 120. It's going to be very, very smooth. So now that I have shown you this, I want to go back on the drawing board with the always on display. All right, I have activated the always on display on both phones, and it's good to see that the S24 Ultra is indeed dropping to 24 Hz. I cannot see the instant value on the Vivo. It was 30 Hz. Now it's the lock screen, right? And at some point it can even go up to 10 Hz. You can see it from here. The moment I go back and the always on display starts, it is 30 Hz. Then something happens. I do have a feeling that it drops further. The moment I do double press the screen, I'm gonna go to the lock screen on both devices, and you can see that the Vivo is trying to maintain here some low refresh rate. So this is the lock screen. Allow me now to unlock the phones, right? Both of them, by the way, are using ultrasonic. So the moment I'm brought back to the always on display, I will show you it is really very, very quick. I am on the main screen. By the way, I'm using wallpapers from the Lunar app on both phones. I do get a lot of questions around the app that I'm using. One of the best apps for me is Lunar Wallpaper. Check it out. This here is the home screen. If I swipe to the left, on the S24 Ultra, I'm gonna get access to my Google feed, and here, that's a Chinese phones, I'm gonna get access to some widgets, so no Google feed here. One swipe to the right will bring me back to my home screen, and this is what browsing looks like. It is very flawless on both of those phones. All right, one more time to show you, absolutely flawless. What happens when I swipe up from the corner of my screen? I'm gonna get to the quick settings on the S24 Ultra, and this here is the quick setting on the Vivo. One more time, this time I'm gonna do this from the left. Of course, I'm getting here notifications. If I do this from the left, I'm going to also get the notification on the S24 Ultra. This is how it looks like, right? You can uncollapse them if you want on both phones. It works like a charm. You can also, of course, just decide which one to delete or just skip like this. You can, of course, press clear all and boom, everything is cleared out. You can also see that we have this nice blur applied on both of the phones. One more time, this is the OriginOS4 One UI 6.1. This is the implementation. Remember, Samsung changed this from One UI 5 to One UI 6. Now we have this, I think, very nice looking control center with the connectivity things like the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. Then we have the main sections here, and then we have screen controls and then smart device controls. It looks a bit more chaotic on the OriginOS, more like some people would say clone from an iOS, but overall it does the same job. If you want to edit more icons, you have plenty of options, you can put it there, right? And at the end of the day, you have also these settings to show the media player, show the multi-device connectivity, so it's really customizable. You can do the same thing here also on the One UI 6. Here I've decided to have a clock widget with the weather, so if I press here on the clock, I'm immediately getting to the clock. Here I have directly the weather widget, which is available also for the Vivo. It looks like this. So one more time, I'm just gonna click here for you to be able to see what happens. Very nice and very smooth animations. I do like the fact that both phones are zooming in and zooming out on the wallpaper the moment you get inside something, here on the Vivo and here on the S24 Ultra. This is the main stage, what I call the home screen. If I hold my finger, right, I'm going to get this. I'm now able on the Vivo to hold and drag any icon and to reorder it. I can also, of course, go on my other screen. What I like on the Vivo is the fact that I have these specific areas where I can put the icons, right? So I can decide to put them there and there, so it kind of like shows you. It looks similar on the S24 Ultra, though from here I cannot move the icons. If I want to remove the icons or move them, I can just select them like this. If I press the select, then I have multiple select, and I can drum them around where I want and just organize them really the way I want. So this is something important. One more time. Now this is an animation video. See what happens on both phones. I would say it's very smooth. Down below we have the option to access the wallpaper, the themes, the widgets, the settings. It is pretty much the same on the Origin, so there is something though a bit different. The concept of widget is a bit more different versus to what I've seen in other phones. They are called kits. It's just like widgets on steroids, with some context menus, with a bit more of that interaction level. But of course, this is going to be shown in another video. Right now, I want to focus on the animation. Something that is also different. If I go here on the settings, you can see I'm going to get to the home screen settings. What I do like on the OriginOS is the fact there is something called the mood cube, which will give me a very fast way to change icon styles. So let me just show you. If I'm from here, I can change the icon styles, bigger, smaller, right? I can also try to change and directly use a new wallpaper if I want. I can also use different Windows styles like the mono right now. You can see how it goes, or let's say the blur one. This will apply additional layer of blur. You can, by the way, combine them, use mono and blur, right? There is the sky one that will put a nice effect here. Of course, this will consume more power, and there is also the time one that this will change during the day, right? And you have the combination to pretty much use them the way you want. You can also combine them. Those are kind of the quirky little differences from One UI to Origin OS. Again, this is not a full comparison between both OSs. In this video, I wanted to showcase the animations. So the first thing I want to do is just open some apps and show you the folder opening, the folder closing, and of course then application opening and closing. So I'm going to start with this folder. By the way, I'm using almost a similar setup. The folder is social, the apps are the same. Now something interesting, when you open the folder on the One UI, the folder gets centered, you get that nice blur. Same happens here, although you don't really like see this distinction. Again, it is just a minor differences in implementation. Overall, very smooth on both phones. What we also see is the moment I click on the folder, I'm always reaching up to 120. Another difference that I'm able to make right now, it seems that the Vivo is able to go down to 10 Hz and the S24 Ultra using the LTPO20 is deciding to only go to 24 Hz. But in a nutshell, Samsung are claiming that they can also go down to 1 Hz in specific scenarios. So this is the folder opening. Okay, one more time, it really looks flawless. What happens if I go up on the S24 Ultra? I'm going to initiate the app drawer. Again, a very smooth animation, and then of course I have access to all my applications. I've decided to not do this on the Vivo, so here nothing will happen if I go up, right? All my icons are directly presented on the home screen, but you can configure this of course if you want and pretty much do whatever you want with this using third-party launchers, which I didn't test yet on the Vivo. This is absolutely stock. but you pretty much get the idea. So if you do like this, we're gonna get access to the recents menu where I have loaded all the applications. It's the standard stuff. We have the option though here to search on the Samsung. You can open an application and you have also access to settings. You can get some recommended apps. Something that I really like on the Vivo is that you have this button. I can now very easily just go and decide to use this list view and the grid view, and just swiping up like this will kill the applications. And something, guys, I wanted to show you, right? Like, just take a look at this animation. All right, this is an absolutely flawless animation. I do believe that it's absolutely non-linear because I can really stop it every time I want. So it's not waiting on me to trigger, then execute the whole animation. So I can really just see, I can really try to turn it on, turn it off. The moment I just click, it reverses directly. Samsung are not really there, I do believe. They are also experimenting with non-linear animations, but it is not yet at that stage. And of course, you can also get this grid view, but you need to use good luck, and then you can use home up, and it's a whole other story. So now, guys, let me show you. I'm gonna just close everything. All right, if I go on the S24 Ultra right now, nothing inside the memory. And without any further ado, guys, I'm gonna start opening some of the applications on both phones so that you can compare and see the animations. And I'm gonna start with Telegram. Very nice on both phones. Okay, I'm now scrolling down with that nice 120 Hz refresh rate, going outside. Okay, now let's do this one more time. Going inside the folder, going inside the application, scrolling down, and now getting outside. We have this very nice zoom in, zoom out effect on the One UI 6.1. We don't get this somehow on the Vivo. Most probably there is a way for you to configure it, because there are so many options in the Vivo. You can really get crazy just with experimenting and playing with those. But this is the standard animation. Let's do the same with Facebook. All right, we get the same very nice scrolling, then going outside on the Vivo and also outside on the S24 Ultra. Now let's try with X. I'm gonna open X on both phones. Again, very nice, very smooth in terms of scrolling, going outside on the Vivo and going outside on the S24 Ultra. Something also very important, I wanna show you the Instagram. Why? Now, the moment I start the Instagram and I start scrolling down, we see that we have 120. But it's interesting to see what is gonna happen when I go to the left and try to invoke the viewfinder. So viewfinder here, 60 Hertz. I do the same on the Vivo X100 Ultra, give all the rights, and I can see that at some point it is also just going up to 60 Hertz, and it's always trying to go down like 30, 24. The moment I probably try to just touch the button, it will also of course reach 60 Hertz. So this is the story with the Instagram. And now, guys, you can pause the video and let me know which animation you prefer, the one on the OriginOS4 or the one on the S24 Ultra. Now let me show you something interesting. I'm gonna open the settings. All right, very flawless on the Vivo. Settings here also very flawless on the Samsung. I'm gonna go outside, and now, guys, see what happens. I'm gonna start and try to kind of stop the animation, right? And you can just see I'm really able to stop the animation almost everywhere. And I do believe that I'm almost able to do this on the One UI, right? Like, if I'm very careful on how I time it, then most probably I can get it. But I do have the feeling that it's not really at that level of fluidity. See here, I'm really able to stop it immediately after I open it, all right? And I know this is probably not a big thing, right? And you can probably do this also on the Samsung, but it just takes a bit more time. So again, I do believe that Samsung went a very long way in optimizing the animations, but they still will have to work on getting them to be so smooth, right? And really fully implement the concept of having the non-linear animations. See, it's really very good, right? And even if I try to be very, very fast, I'm not able to completely stop it. You see, like, probably if I'm just very good with timing, I can really stop it halfway through. But here it's just insane. Like, you can just see it is in real time, the blur is in real time, and I'm really able to just do whatever I want with this. And I'm gonna show you another example so that you can really get it. Now, what happens here is when I go in that menu, I hold the Telegram, right? I have an option, right, to put it here or here, right? So let's say I put it here and then I open the settings. I'm gonna have the split screen. On the Vivo, the moment I go inside, right, I have the option to go for the split screen or to open the pop-up mode. And now see, guys, see what I mean? This is really so smooth, right? And I can absolutely immediately stop it every time I want, okay? And the whole animation itself is just absolutely stunning. So let me just try to open, for example, the clock here. Now we can do the same, and you can just see this animation is a bit better for my taste because of course it's well animated and you have some fancy transitions. This here is a bit more abrupt, but what happens if I, let's say, try to just maximize Telegram? I can show you if I do like this, and boom, Telegram is maximized. So I'm just gonna repeat the same here, do like this. Yeah, see, there is this moment of time where it doesn't look so great, but overall it is very, very comparable. If I swipe from here, I can get this to a pop-up window. You can get some of those and you can absolutely resize them, move them around the way you want. You can do this on the Vivo as well, but this time you need to swipe from here. So let's swipe it from here. All right, can get pinned. Then of course you can also use it as a pop-up window. Okay, the moment you minimize it, I like the fact that you get this small preview. Now let's also try to open X. I'm gonna open X. I'll just try to scroll down a bit. Now let's just try to put X also as a pop-up window. Now you're gonna get these two, and every time you want to use X, for example, you can put it there, and of course you have the option to make it bigger. Now I'm gonna also minimize X here as a pop-up window. I can have these two pop-up windows, right, which is a bit clever on the S24 Ultra. Here you can always choose, like you can pop out or one you want, right, but then the other one will be here and you can swipe them and switch them. On the S24 Ultra, I do like the fact that you can actually group them and have multiple pop-up windows. So it's just a different implementation. It's really whatever you like better, but overall I think the level of fluidity is very nice implemented in One UI 6 and also in the OriginOS4. Now let me show you something interesting. This here is the Edge panel, and there's something similar in the OriginOS. When you do like this and just hold a bit longer, you're gonna get access to this. So I do believe it's kind of like a clone of the Edge panel. From here, of course, you're also able to start certain applications, right, and just do whatever you want with them. And now something that is interesting, if I do like this, guys, we have the option on the S24 Ultra to get this view, right, not necessarily working on the Vivo, right, but it's important to also try to check the animations here. So if I open Telegram right from here, you're gonna see it's absolutely flawless. And if I now use the phone like this and open Telegram, we're gonna get only this. On the Vivo, this doesn't work in the standard way, so if you even use it like this, yeah, it's gonna look like that. Most probably there is a setting somewhere, because really there are tons of features, and allow me to also share some of those with you. If I am to hold the finger here and here, right, I can go inside the home settings and then try to change some of the default settings. We have the home screen layout, the grids, it's all standard stuff from there. Something that doesn't exist in One UI is the sliding effects. So right now you see I'm using this transition, which is the standard one, but then we have the fading one. We have this one, which is called superposition, right? We have the jumping one, the press one, the rotation one, and you can also, of course, preview them, the carousel, the cube one, the cube outside, barrel turnover. Like, there are really so many of these things included, right? And I do believe that the OriginOS4 deserves not even only one video, it deserves a lot of videos for me to be able to cover all of this here in the full extent, because only alone from here the things that you can do are really so much. For example, there is something called the lock layout. I can now enable it and I'm not going to be able to move any icons around, which is actually something good. Let me show you. For example, I want to move this icon. No, it is locked, right? So I can remove it from here from the screen, but the layout is just fixed. And again, there are these very nice and handful settings. Of course, there is also the dock. You can customize the icons on the dock, show the background. Right now, see, I'm gonna have no background, and this is gonna look a bit more like what I have here on the Galaxy. Or if I decide to go back and show the background, it's gonna look like this. So again, there are these things that you can of course achieve with good lock, which is also of course one of the best parts in One UI. Here these things are kind of integrated directly into the separate menus. You have the option to automatically rearrange the icons. You can do this when an icon is moved. We have also options for the home screen, and also go and download updates for this. It's really good. And of course you have also the option to check for update. From here you have the options to modify so many things, like for example rounded corner of the icons, right? You can make them like this, or a bit more mellow, right? Or you can also change the icon size. So right now, if I'm to show you, boom, I'm using the smallest size. I can always go back and restore the size, or I can even go and choose a larger size. And of course you can also play with the coloring. It's really a very nice thing for theming. So right now, boom, after applying this, of course not all of the icons are gonna get themed, right? Only the icons that do support this. It's usually some standard icons, and you know how it goes. This has been introduced some time ago with the Android material. So of course I can always go and boom, just use the standard one, or here just use the default one. There are really a lot of options, guys, and I'm really interested into covering fully the OriginOS. This is also of course something that I'm gonna do over the next few weeks. Right now this video was more about the animations, so please let me know what you think down below. Something I also want to show you inside the settings, when I just go down, right, we have this bouncing effect, very well pronounced on the Vivo, not so much here on the One UI. Something about the design language, when we go inside we can see we have these toggles, like this looks more like the standard toggles from the Android 14. Here this is what Vivo decided to implement, but I do really like things like this. This design from OriginOS is very interactive, so I really enjoyed these few days. I've been using the Vivo X100 Ultra as my main driver to be able to produce my full review for the phone, so I need more time to work on this. So guys, this was it for this video. Let me know what you think down below, and if you like content like this, don't forget to sub for the channel and come back. Stay safe, VST over and bye.